What's up, Ringsiders? So here we are. Quarter one, closed, done, finito, finished, in the books. 13 weeks, man. 13 weeks. Wow. If you notice, unlike the other times before with the synopsis write-up, about 2 weeks ago, Saul referred you all to the fact that this was going to be more or less the presentation these days. Coming into the upcoming games, instead of writing out those big long synopsises, we're getting more technologically friendly. So on a weekly basis, we'll have updates of what happened on the programs in which we are concerned with, that what happened with the competitors that are selected. Probably sounds a little bit more complicated than what it actually is, but you're gonna get a little taste of it today. Decided that was the best way to end it all. Plus, we started it off with videos and connecting, so why not? So for you new guys that are watching along, keep your eyes on it. I know there's like 3 or 4 of you that are real avid on top of everything, even if you're not playing. This started about 16 weeks ago. Saul and myself put this together. It basically came off an idea of, I'm a sports fan. Love playing fantasy basketball every year. But my number one sport and entertainment is professional wrestling. So I always thought, why don't they have a fantasy league? I know there's a market for this. I know there's people that are interested in this. I know this is a way to more globally connect individuals who are fans of professional wrestling. So, sure enough, worked endlessly, day, night, came up with draft ideas and points and etc., etc. And here we go. We got the game. If I haven't already mentioned, my mind's a little scattered, so sorry if I repeat myself. I want to thank everybody who participated in quarter one, who know it was been trial and error, and thanks to you guys playing and participating, I really think that cohesively we all came together and helped my mind and Saul's mind get to a point where we could make the best possible game. And you're going to see the improvements coming out here soon. I just announced the rollouts last week. First big thing you're going to notice with this video here is we now have our own YouTube channel. Ringside Wrestling Fantasy League will now have a YouTube channel. So please, guys, go ahead, like, subscribe, etc. On a weekly basis, you will catch the synopsis of what's happened that affects your competitors. Saul had mentioned I will mostly be covering Raw, SmackDown, NXT. If somebody happens to choose the Cruiserweight Champion, then 205 as well. If not, 205 has actually been omitted from the list. 205 will be available if and when, and only if and when, the Cruiserweight Champion is selected by somebody in their fantasy draft. Saul's going to be covering Impact, New Japan, AEW, and NXT UK. As things get a little bit more hectic, as y'all know, New Japan comes with those crazy tournament schedules. So when we're on a crazy tournament kick, I'll probably be taking over AEW for a few weeks here and there just to help level load out everything. So expect on a weekly basis at least 2 videos going through what happened. One from me covering the shows in which I'll be covering, and one from Saul covering the shows in which he will be covering. So, y'all remember, right? The grand prize for quarter one. T-shirt of your choosing from WWE.com. And a first round draft pick in the championship category. So, drop the bomb. Spoiler alert. Since we're adding so many more companies, we were able to change and manipulate and expand upon the rosters. So, What that means is we will now have 4 champions per brand. The women's champion, tag team champion, a mid-card champion, and a category I'd like to call company face champion. That's more or less your big time champs. You could choose and draft the AEW champion, the Universal champion, the WWE champion, the Impact champion, so on and so forth. That would be your company face. So here's the catch-22. Keep in mind, ringsiders, because one of you listening to this is the winner. You may select any of those championships to get the first round draft pick in, but that one category and that one category over only. If you so happen to select AEW, that is a wild card draw, which means both Chris Jericho, Y2J, Mr. Frontman of Fozzy himself, and the Hung One, Hangman Page, Adam Page, are completely off the market. Nobody will be able to draft those 2 superstars for AEW because the individual that selects the AEW championship will be awarded the superstar that wins it, which will be one of those 2. So, little spoiler alert for you about the rosters. If you refer back to your list, there will be more coming soon. Alright, so let's get into this, man. We just had SummerSlam. SummerSlam I thought was pretty good, pretty decent show. Bray Wyatt finally really got his breakout moment. Had a very, very good match with Finn Balor. Bray Wyatt, aka The Fiend, as y'all can recall, is a member of Elite Pro Wrestling. I'm sorry, Senju Clan Wrestling. And Finn Balor is a member of Elite Pro Wrestling. So, after what, Dustin? 13 weeks of waiting, you finally got a match out of Bray. However, he was still lucky and among times got to collect points from his Funhouse, Vignettes, Playhouse, whatever it was. So, that was a very good breakout there. We also got to see Kevin Owens from Champion City Wrestling taking on Shane McMahon with his job on the line. Shane threw it all in, even brought in Senju Clan Wrestling, Elias, to try and be a special guest referee enforcer type of spirit. As a result, Champion City Wrestling will be fitting a fine for Kevin Owens for $100,000. Next time, KO, keep your hands off the officials. Also, we saw in a very disappointing match, I thought, Kofi Kingston defend his championship, the championship of Power Pro Wrestling, against Randy Orton. This was actually Randy Orton's debut match for Champion City Wrestling. It's kind of a shame it ended out on a count out. I mean, on a plus side, nobody takes some wins, nobody takes some L's out of this one, so I guess that's okay, but I was very disappointed. It was a very stupid angle to end that match. I understand you want to grow and go further on that feud, but I'm sorry, stupid angle. That's what it is. Stupid is as stupid does. We also saw my man, the individual who was the face, chosen first in the face of the company for City Championship Wrestling, Seth freaking Rollins. We saw him take another crazy ass whooping from the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. But he took that ass whooping and he came back. And he came back. He countered the suplexes. He stomped. He super kicked. He fought tooth and nail and reclaimed and brought back home to end it all the Universal Championship. Thank you, Seth, so much for your contributions. Other than that, I kind of feel like SummerSlam was a bit of a drag. We had the AJ Ricochet angle. That was a Power Pro Wrestling exclusive. Match was very good, but I feel like that's an angle you should not keep continuously dragging out. From what the rumors is, Ricochet is battling with a shoulder or elbow injury. Look, instead of keep trying to force this angle, why don't you let Ricochet sit up on himself and go ahead and recover a little bit and leave it alone. AJ, let him move on, do something new. Especially, with the club and toe, Gallows and Anderson from Senju Clan Wrestling holding those Raw Tag Team Championships. We could make it a lot more interesting and just keep going back and forth with Ricochet. Just my opinion. So, off the top of my head, and I do forgive y'all, I will be more organized in the future. I have notes. I'm basically just doing this off the top of my head right now. I believe that was about it for SummerSlam as far as affected rosters. Besides the Goddess Alexa Bliss teaming with Nikki Cross to take on the Iconics. They won and retained the titles. Nikki Cross has actually been a day one exclusive for Champion City Wrestling. So, thanks for bringing some more gold home to the brand, baby. Raw, filler episode. Let's be real. We did get a match against Champion City Wrestling, Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles of Power Pro Wrestling. Ended in disqualification thanks to Senju Clan Wrestling's Senju Clan's Wrestling Tag Team Champions Gallows and Anderson. But also, coming out of Senju Clan Wrestling, Braun Strowman came, gave the assists and the save to my man Seth. So, hey, cool with that. Y'all give me a second here. Like I said, Raw was mostly a filler. There wasn't too much going on. SmackDown, we already talked about Kevin Owens getting the $100,000 fine. Sorry. Not good for business. Oh, something big that happened on Raw, actually. Elias took a controversial loss to Power Pro Wrestling's Ricochet. But, as a result, later on in that night, Mr. Elias came for some revenge. Being kind of hot-tempered, he took that guitar to the back of Elite Pro Wrestling's R-Truth and pinned him 1, 2, 3 to become the new 24/7 champion and go to obtain the streak of having 5+ days as the 24-hour champion undisputed. Pretty big move considering the titles mostly stayed with Elite Pro Wrestling the whole time of its incarnation. It's a very big power move and definitely changed the game up a little bit, especially in the favor of Senju Clan Wrestling. Also this week on WWE Main Event, sorry guys, again, Central Clan's Wrestling, Lacey Evans, who we haven't seen in a while since she had that overdone feud with Becky Lynch, which I think is actually personally very terrible. I think she was showing a lot. I think she does belong in the main event picture. I just think watching the same thing over and over with Becky Lynch when you know what the outcome's going to be, especially for now, it's not good for business. I definitely don't think it was smart to take Lacey from that big headlining feud and put her way out in left wing and say, hey, no, this ain't it, guys. However, she did come very strong against Dana Brooks on a match on Main Event. which she was victorious of, with a little variation to her woman's right finisher. She actually delivered it, I noticed, from the second turnbuckle. I don't know if that was just a placement thing or if that's going to become a new variation of the move or what we're going to do in continuation to that, but it happened. So, how we ended up, guys? 3 weeks. We were all tied at 3 weeks apiece on week 12, which to me, that was mind-blowing phenomenon. I think all before Senju Clan Wrestling even obtained 1 win. I believe that Power Pro Wrestling was sitting at 2 wins. Elite Pro Wrestling was sitting at 2 or 3 wins, and Champion City Wrestling was at 2 or 3 wins. So, I mean, we probably went a good 6 weeks before Senju Clan even won a ratings war. Their day was off a little bit. And, again, Senju Clan Wrestling came back. Won 2 weeks in a fucking row to tie this and really make the last week interesting. I think for me that actually meant a lot. It meant that the game is actually very unpredictable. I spoke with a lot of you. I actually saw and called some of you out, Brad, about strategies I saw that you guys were implementing based upon the little side games and stuff. And I just wanted to say, like, that's really cool because that really shows, like, you guys are into this and you're really thinking about it. And everybody was actually so thinking about it, maniacal in their picks with what they could pick based on where their draft positioning was, that we all developed a roster that put this game neck and neck at the very end. So, without further ado, I'm going to make one more announcement, and then we're going to get to the winner of the first quarter. Tomorrow, not only do we now have the YouTube channel, and not only are we now going more digital, tomorrow we will be releasing 4 or 5 different logo ideas for the Fantasy League. We want you guys to vote on which ones are your favorite. Not saying that ones that don't get as many votes won't be utilized, but they will not be the main logo. They may be utilized, so don't be afraid to state your opinion. You still might see something you like somewhere. I know we're looking at using one of the logos just for the intros before our videos that we're going to deliver. We want to use one for potentially in the future making a Facebook page for this group, and using one for the banner, then obviously the logo sign and what you would see as our picture on the YouTube channel. So those will be out tomorrow. I'm not really giving a deadline on the voting time. I mean, the sooner you guys put in your opinions, the better, because I do want to have this all in order and set up and available for the start of quarter 2, which, by the way, gentlemen, is August 31st, if you didn't remember. Also our draft day, so we all need to come together and get what's going to be a good time on that Saturday to have a draft. Keep in mind that AEW will be having the All Out, and NXT UK will be having a takeover. Y'all know what I'll be watching. So we need to get the drafts in and done before that. If you do not get your draft selections in before those events, you will not be able to collect points for those events. You will have a complete 24-hour registration time if you miss the draft. You will have 24 hours there to get a roster together. But if you don't make it that Saturday on draft time, you will not collect points for those shows. So keep that in mind, guys. We're kind of open. I threw a couple times out there. I think I said 2, 4, or 6 p.m. something like that. So I'm kind of flexible. It's up to y'all. All right. So here it is. Drum roll, please. All right. So consider we're all tied at 3 weeks. I'm going to read this in the order of last place to first place, based off week 13 ratings. We have Elite Pro Wrestling, 4th place for the quarter with 9 points. We have Power Pro Wrestling from Brad in 3rd place, finishing the week with 23 points. Very impressive, sir. Matter of fact, I believe on week 1, if I go back and look at my notes, I think on week 1 you scored 23 points, and now on the last week scoring 23 points. I see you. I see you, bro. Too bad it wasn't enough this time. In 2nd place for the first quarter at the end of week 13 with a total of 26 points, we have City Championship Wrestling, brought to you by yours truly. That's right, CCW finishes the first quarter 2nd place with a total of 26 points at the end of week 13. And I can't believe I'm about to say this. For a home fucking run effort, for a 3rd week in a row win, Mr. Come From Behind, straight out of nowhere, slicing you up like Razor Ramon, we have Senju Clan Wrestling by Dustin with 27 points. My hat's off to you, fam. You just chopped my head about 1 point. So, seeing the chat conversation earlier, I can see already what shirt you're gonna want. So, I got you. And first place victory, you get to choose either mid-card champion, tag team champion, women's champion, or company face champion to have the first round draft pick in. So choose wisely, my friend. Let me know what you choose. Congratulations again, Dustin. And as always, can't wait for the next quarter. And I'll see y'all ringside.